Okay, so continuing with the double mask curve technique. So in the previous slide we have seen regarding for what reason this inconsistency may arise in a rain gauge station. So apart from that, even we are going to we have learned with respect to how we need to go ahead with the double mask curve technique. Okay, so here let me first before we go into this theoretical aspect, let me go into the first this particular graph which is drawn over here. Okay, so this particular graph itself you can call that as the graphical representation for the calculation for this double mask curve technique. Okay, so let us try to understand what all things are here. Okay, first thing first, so you can check out the x-axis. What we have, it is sigma p average. That is, here the sigma p average is indicating what? Cumulative value of all the base stations additions. Okay, similarly this particular sigma px is indicating the station at which, that is the y axis is basically indicating the rain gauge station for which you want to check the consistency. So that particular rain gauge station collected rainfall values for a set of years will be there in this particular y axis. So one thing is for sure, since both these values are sigmas, okay, since both these values over here are sigma values, so it indicates what? Both the x-axis as well as y-axis are nothing but the cumulative values. So that's why there will not be any reduction in these values. Okay, so since x-axis is also cumulative, so it will never come down, or else it will never be in the left direction, because since it is a cumulative value, it will always go in the rightward direction. And similarly for the y-axis also, since it is a sigma of, that is summation of px, because of that these values will always go in the upward direction, so these values will never come down. Okay, so keeping this in mind, so let us try to give you an idea of how the problems are going to be and how we can solve those. Okay, so here firstly, for this particular type of what I can say question, they will be giving you a set of data. Okay, let us understand what those data are. Here, initially they will be giving you the year for that particular rainfall data is being collected. Okay, then we are going to have regarding the px. Okay, third column usually we are going to have about the p average. Yeah, so these particular columns usually will be given to you. Okay, so first let us understand what these three are indicating over here. So if I consider a particular catchment area, okay, and imagine that these are nothing but are three rain gauge stations. Okay, fine. So at this point of time, as we have discussed, so imagine this as one, this as second rain gauge station, and this I am going to call it as X. So whose consistency I am going to determine it over here. So keeping this in mind, if I want to try out with respect to this rain gauge station 1 and rain gauge station 2 together, these are called as what? Base stations. Okay, so these are called as base stations. So based on these base stations, so your p average value is going to come. Okay, so if I average out the values collected by the rain gauge station 1 and rain gauge station 2, okay, if I average the values what I am getting from these two, and then if I write it over here, then that value is going to be what? P average. Now similarly the value of x, station x, whichever is there, so that will be there in the second column. Now continuing with that, imagine, so for the year let us say 1990. Okay, for the year 1990, this px value is, let us say, 56 mm. Okay, now similarly this what it this 56 is indicating, it is indicating that for the year 2000 1990, the rain gauge station X had given us a value of 56 mm. Now similarly, if I go for this base station reading, so then what this P average value I am going to write down here. Imagine that is around, let us say, 75. Okay, so this 75, how this 75 value has come up, it is based on the addition of these two rain gauge station values divided by 2. That is the arithmetic average of the entire base station setup. Whenever we do that, so that time we are going to get the P average value. Now similarly, we can they will be giving us the data for, let us say, 91, 92 and so on. Okay, so usually this data will be for more than 30 years. Ultimately this may be more than 30 years which is going to be there. Okay, imagine, so for 91, let us say this is 60 mm. Okay, and here it is 66 mm, and for 92, let us say it is 39 mm. 1 year the rainfall has reduced drastically. Similarly, here we'll have 45 mm. Imagine this. So such kind of a data they will be giving you. Now whenever we want to solve this particular problem, then you need to have a few more calculations done before we go into the graphical representation. Okay, so first thing first, what we need to do is, as per the description what we have discussed in the previous slide. So one thing is for sure, here we go from recent years to the past years. Okay, so what do I meant by that? So imagine it has started in 1990. Okay, so 3 decades from 1990 will be what? 2020. Okay, so if I write 2020 over here, okay, so at that point of time what will happen is, so my first reading over here in this particular graph is going to be for what? It is going to be for that year 2020. So I need to start from 2020 and then I need to go to the previous year. So imagine, so whatever these data have been given over here. Okay, so if I want to draw this particular graph for the set of data that has been given at that point of time, what this indicates is this first point will be for what? 2020. Okay, similarly the second point will be for 2019. Similarly third one will be for 2018, and so on and so forth. Okay, and this last point which is there over here, so this value will be for 1990. Okay, so this is what we meant by, we'll usually go from recent years, will go from recent years to the past year. So this is what actually it means. Now keeping this in mind, so whenever we go for the calculation, the first and foremost thing that you need to do is you need to reverse all these values, because for the calculation in the questions what they usually give you is they give it from the past year to the present year. So right now you can see here we are getting these values from 1990 till 2020. Okay, but whereas this graph needs to be drawn from 2020 till 1990. So that's why the first and foremost thing over here will be to reverse all these values which have been given. So if I say that reverse these, so let me just show you how that can be done. So again your columns are going to remain similar. So first one will be year, then you have your px value, then you will have your P average value. Okay, so we are not doing anything. So the first and foremost step is you need to just reverse these values. So here first one will be what? 2020, that will be coming here, and for that whatever the values we are going to have over here, the same values will come. Next it will be 2019, so for that given set of values will be there, and so on it will come up till what? 1990. So this 1990 last value is going to be what? It is going to be here we have written it as 56 and 75. Okay, so here I am going to write this as 56 and 75. So the first and foremost thing what you need to do is you need to reverse these particular years and the respective values. Now the next step is, if you check out, the x-axis is what? Sigma p average, and the y-axis is sigma px. So that's why here they have just given the value of px and p average. It is not a cumulative value what they have given. So these are nothing but for a specific year which is being shown over here. So what rainfall data has been collected from the station X as well as from the base stations has been mentioned over here. So now for this, the next column we are going to have is sigma px. Okay, so what does that sigma px indicate to you? So it is nothing but the first value of px. So kindly try to understand this. So whatever the value is over here, so that value will directly come here. Imagine, just for the sake of simplicity, I'll write some values here so that it will be easy for you to understand. Yeah. So here imagine this is, let us say, 60. Here it is 65. Okay. Now for 2019, let us imagine this is 55. Okay, and this is, let us say, 62, something of that sort. And similarly, even I'll write it for the 18, just for 3 readings. Okay, so here imagine again this is 58 and this is 63. Okay, so keeping that in mind, so whatever the first value is going to be here, okay, px for 2020, which is available, so the same value will come in this column. So here it is going to be what, 60 again. Now since it is a cumulative value, sigma p, what we have written in this column, then the next value which is going to come over here will be whatever the value is over here plus the next value in the px column. So 60 plus 55, that is going to come over what, over here. Okay, so 110, 115. So the second value for you, it is going to be 115. Now similarly for the third value, what it is going to be, it is 115 plus the third value in the px column. So 115 plus 58, so that is going to be how much, 110, 50, 160, 168, 170, 173. Okay, so here we are going to write it as 173. So similarly we need to go on adding all these. So one by one we need to go on adding this till the year 1990. So this particular column is going to give you the values of y-axis for your graph. Similarly, I need to do the same thing with p average, sigma p average. Okay, so here also I'll repeat once again, please check out. So here if I take one more color, okay, so this first value of 65 will directly come here, so that is your 65 value for the year 2020. Now similarly this 65 plus this 62, that is the second value in the p average column, that I am going to add it to write it over here. Okay, so it will be 60, 120, 125, 127. Okay, so this is going to be how much, 127. Now similarly the third value will be 127 plus 63, that is going to come here as the next value. So here it will be 120 plus 60, 180, 187, 190. Okay, so this is going to be what, 190. So and so forth, you need to go on calculating it for the entire till 1990. So that will give you the value of what, x-axis. So this is x-axis coordinates and this is y-axis coordinates. So this will be your second job. First job will be to reverse this chronological order, that is from the past year till the present year the data will be given. So that you need to reverse as we have done here. Now the second step is you need to calculate the value of px, sigma px and sigma p average. So both the things whenever you do, so you are going to get the values or else ordinates for the x-axis as well as for the y-axis. Now keeping this in mind, now the next step that we are going to do is we need to plot these particular points for we need to plot these 2 points for the sake of drawing this double mass curve. Now the next step is going to be to draw this particular graph. Okay, so for that let me just rub these for few instances so that I can give you the ordinate values for few of the things. Okay, now as I said, the first value, so this here it is basically 0 0. Okay, so for the first dot or first ordinate what we are going to have in our graph, it is going to be for the year what, 2020. Okay, so for this 2020, what is the x ordinate that we have? So x ordinate is nothing but what? Sigma p average. So sigma p average over here is how much? 65. So x ordinate for the first point, that is for the year 2020, it is 65. Now similarly, the y ordinate for that, which I am going to write over here, that is nothing but what? 60. Okay, now similarly, for the year 2019, that is the second year what we have, so there we have the x ordinate as 127, which is visible over here. Yeah, similarly, we have 115 as the second ordinate for the y-axis, 115. So and so forth, we need to go on marking these points for the respective years. Okay, so here we have 17, 16 and so on, and this last point, as I said, so this will be what? 1990. So this is what it is going to be there. Now keeping this in mind, what may happen, okay, so as per the previous slide, that last paragraph what we have discussed, so whenever we go ahead and do such kind of a graph representation, so there might be a chance, possibility, at one particular year, okay, there may be change in the trend of the rainfall data that has been collected. Okay, so there may be a change in the trend at which the rainfall data is collected. So keeping this in mind, imagine, okay, in this present problem that I'm trying to explain over here, imagine for the year, let us say, imagine this entire this catchment area is our college campus itself. So what we have discussed, so from 2009 the college has started, so the construction for this particular college might have started in 2008. So keeping that in mind, so imagine from 2008, in this particular locality, that is our college campus, the rainfall characteristics has changed. So from 1990 till this 2008, we had one kind of rainfall characteristics, okay, because there was no construction at that point of time. So before 2008, this entire campus was covered with grass, its natural habitat, whatever is there, that was there. Okay, so after 2008, what has happened, our institute has been established, and because of which what has happened, so we had a lot of construction activities or else man-made activities that has changed the topography of this particular land. And because of this, what has happened, there might be some changes in the rainfall characteristics in our campus because of the activities what we have done. So for such instances, so we might have some changes in the characteristics of rainfall. So that changes in characteristics is being shown over here with the help of different slope. So you can check out from 2020 till 2008, it has one set of slope. So it indicates what? The rainfall characteristics from 2020 till 2008, it is of the same nature. But whenever it comes before this 2008, so that time what is happening, the slope of this particular line is changing, and because of that, our particular what I can say, our slope is basically varying over there. Okay, so keeping that in mind, so whenever such kind of variations are happening, what we are going to do, so now this is the most important point for this double mask curve technique. I'll repeat myself, please check this out. Whenever such kind of deviations are occurring, okay, what we need to imagine right now is, I want the rainfall characteristics for the future of this. That is what we have done in this calculation. The maximum year or else the latest year what they have given is 2020. But whenever I want to continue this, whenever I want to utilize this double mask curve technique for the future works, so at that point of time I need to have the values which are further over here. Okay, so what does this further thing means to you? Please try to imagine this. Here it is for 2020, but if I want to apply this double mask curve technique and get the data of future years, okay, that is, let us say I want ultimately the value of 2030. Okay, so for 2030 year, what will be the rainfall characteristic? I want to predict that. So for that itself, I am using the data from 2020 to 1990. For this particular aspect, now imagine once our college has established in 2008 or else started the construction in 2008, its rainfall characteristics has changed over here. I hope I'm clear. The rainfall characteristics has changed over here, and you know that this particular institute is going to be here for n number of future years. Okay, so that's why whatever the future year or rainfall characteristics is going to be there, that will be similar. Okay, try to get this line over here. So this line will be in line with the rainfall characteristics what we got from 2020 to 2008. I hope you are getting that, since here we have our buildings. So even in the future we are going to have our buildings itself. So what we are going to assume right now is, for the prediction of future rainfall characteristics, I am going to make sure that I am going to make few corrections to the previous year's data when there was no building. So I am going to make the rainfall characteristics similar to right now what it is there. I'll repeat myself, please check this out once again. This is a bit confusing. To predict the future for any use, so why do we use this basically double mask curve technique, is just to check whether the data given by a particular station is consistent or not. That is what our ultimate aim is. So keeping that in mind, if I want to explain this particular characteristics, why we are actually changing the data of the previous years, the reason being what, once the building or man-made activity has started, so if I am taking the example of our campus itself, so our buildings are going to remain even in the future years. So that's why the rainfall characteristics what we had before there was a building, it is of no use to me now. It is of no use because that time has passed, and because of that, that rainfall characteristics will never return back to this particular stage, because we have our buildings, and whatever this range we have, this type of rainfall characteristics we have, that itself is going to continue even in the future. So for this particular reason, what I am going to do is, I am going to apply the corrections for the past years, not for the present year. I am going to correct this for the past year, so that even this beyond this 2008 till 1990, what I am talking about over here, even I am going to imagine this building is existing even during this phase, and whenever I assume this part, so then this rainfall characteristics needs to change to the recent one which is there. So I am going to do that, and whenever I do that, so you are going to get this dotted line. I hope you are getting this. You are going to get this dotted line. So this dotted line is indicating what? The corrected values. Okay, so this is what it is indicating. So I'll repeat once again. I am going to put the corrections for the past years. The reason being what? I want to make sure that the previously what regions or else what things we had, so those things will remain as it is. I want to make sure that these previous year datas are coming in line with the present year datas or rainfall characteristics. So for that I am going to do the corrections for all these years after the deviation what we have find out. And once I do that correction, then I am going to get this dotted line, so which will be in line with the recent year's rainfall characteristics. I hope it is clear. Okay, so how we are going to apply that correction, we are going to just check it out now. I'll just rub off a few of these. Okay, now keeping this in mind, fine. So as I told, so this is the deviation what we have found, it is in the year 2008. Okay, now similarly for this 2007, 2006, yeah, 2005, 2004, 3, 2, 1, so and so forth, and this last value is going to be what? 1990. So here one thing that you need to remember is, even though I found this rainfall characteristics variation from the year 2008, but I don't need any correction at that point, because you can see this particular point is exactly at the intersection of the rainfall characteristics 1 that is for the past years, and the new rainfall characteristics after our campus has been established. So keeping this in mind, if you check out for 2008 from the point where the deviation has started, so for that current year, that is for that respective year, there is no need for you to do any corrections, but the correction should start from 1 year past to that. So in this figure, if you check out for 2007, I need to do some correction. So I want to make sure that this particular value which is there on this particular ordinate, so I want to reduce that and bring it down to this dotted line. Okay, so how I am going to do that? That is with the help of formula that we have seen in the previous slide. Okay, so what we are going to call this as is, so basically you will be taking the slope of this. Okay, so or else I'll continue with this first. So similarly for 2007, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 until 1990, we need to apply the corrections. So how that correction will be applied? So if you remember, so we had the formula something like PCX is equals to, we had the formula as PCX is equals to, it will be C divided by A, yeah, it will be C divided by A into the value of Px. This was the formula what we have seen. So what actually this C by A indicates to you? Okay, so for this C by A, basically you can take the slope anywhere from 2008 till 1990. Okay, whenever you take that particular slope, or else you take any two values, okay, at that point of time what will happen for each of the years, if I try to show you, okay, imagine for this 2005 if I consider, okay, so for this 2005, again here I'll get the value of this as A dash, imagine, yeah, and similarly here the same ordinate, whenever it comes down, I am going to have it as what? C dash. So these values are going to remain as it is. So our intention is what? I want to have the same characteristics of rainfall that has occurred from 2008 till 2020. Okay, so I want the same characteristics to go backwards and meet till 1990. So for that, what I'll do, I'll just extend this particular line which is there in the backward direction to get this dotted line. Okay, and whenever I do that, I am going to get two ordinates. One will be the actual value which was there, so that is nothing but the A value, but I want to reduce this A value till this C value. So C is nothing but the corrected value, or just here it is a nomenclature that has been given. So ultimately, whenever you want to calculate this PCX, that is P precipitation corrected value at station X, then you need to multiply it with what? C by A into Px. Okay, so C by A into Px. So for that reason, what we are going to have, what will be the value of C? So it will be whatever you are getting over here. Now similarly, A value you are going to get from the graph. So this C by A ratio will remain same for the entire graph. So this C by A value will always remain same with entire graph. So at that point of time, with this simple representation, you can check out the C ordinate is having a smaller value and A ordinate is having a larger value. And since we are doing this C divided by A, so this value will always be less than what? 1. Because the numerator is smaller and the denominator is larger. So that's why here we always have what? This particular ratio will always be less than 1. Okay, and whenever you multiply this Px value, so imagine for this 2005 what we had just discussed, okay, so here we had this particular value, just for the sake of simplicity, imagine this Px value over here is 105. Okay, so this Px value is what? 105. And similarly, if I say this particular ratio has come out to be 0.7, okay, 0.7, at that point of time my PCX value will be always less than 105. The reason being I am multiplying it with 0.7, that is less than 1. So because of that, my value of PCX will be what? Less than 105. Imagine that value has come out to be 95. Okay, then what it indicates, I have reduced this value from 105, which was the actual rainfall collected for the year 2005 from the rain gauge stations. Okay, I have reduced this value to 95. So 95 is nothing but what? The corrected value. So it has come down from 105 to 95. So what does this reduction is indicating? Because after the construction of college in our premises in 2008, the rainfall characteristics has changed. Imagine in this particular graph, the rainfall characteristics have reduced. That is, there is less amount of rainfall. So the same thing can be visualized with this particular calculation over here with this formula. Okay, so what we have done this 105, which was the actual rainfall that was recorded in 2005, but we have reduced that value to 95 by making a correction. So why this correction was required? Because there was a change in characteristics of rainfall after 2008. I hope I am clear with this. So similarly, we need to do it for all the years. So whatever the values we have on top on the solid line will be coming down to this dotted line. Okay, so these are nothing but the calculations what we are going to do for all the years. So this PCX, what calculation I have just shown you for the example for 2005, actually this calculation you need to do it from 2007, okay, till 1990. So for these set of years, basically you will get the new value of Px. So that itself we call it as PCX. Okay, and based on that, basically you are going to calculate what will be the average rainfall for this entire average rainfall over the entire time period of 30 years, which will be given. So that is from 1990 till 2020. So this is how basically you need to initially do the corrections for the deviation years, if any. Okay, and then with the new PCX what you have got, you need to go ahead and calculate the new average rainfall over that particular catchment for the entire duration. So such kind of usual calculations will be there with the double mass curve technique. Okay, I hope I am clear with the calculation part. Fine. So keeping this in mind, so I'll just read up with that particular theoretical aspect. In the figure, in the above figure, that is this particular figure, the rainfall data after point A requires correction for consistency. So till now what we have basically discussed, okay, so a partial explanation for the same will be given over here in this paragraph. Okay, I'll just rub this off. Yeah, fine. So in the above figure, the rainfall data after point A requires correction for consistency. It is interesting to know that the corrections are made for the older rainfall data. The reason I have just told you. The reason is that the rainfall data recorded in the recent are due to the changes in the surrounding, which continue further. So what it indicates, once in 2008 our college has been established, so this college is going to remain even in the future. So that is what it indicates. So whereas the older ones are brought to such influence, that is here from 2008 till 1990 there was no building. So what we are trying to do, we are trying to change this, or else we are trying to correct this rainfall characteristics where there was no building, and we are trying to bring it in line with the point where the building is existing. So that is what this sentence mean to you. In addition, during exploitation, such corrections need not be considered because it is assumed that the recent data are free from deviation. So what we assume, the recent data is always correct, because whatever the changes in the surrounding of the rain gauge station needs to happen, so that has already happened, and this data or the nature of rainfall that will be there, that will be correct. Whereas for the previous years, so this data will not be correct. Okay, now the double mass curve technique is helpful in checking the arithmetical errors in transforming the rainfall data from record to record. Okay, so this double mask curve technique basically helps you to bring down these rainfall data values to the corrected values. Okay, with the help of that PCX value formula what we have just studied. Okay, further this technique is not suitable for short duration records. So as we have seen, if this needs to be more accurate, then we need to have n number of years data. So minimum what they give you is 30 years, but it may even go beyond 30 years also. Okay, so this is how basically our entire double mask curve technique works on this. Okay, so I'll just try to repeat myself what all things we have discussed in this. First and foremost thing, whenever we try to solve the problems, so initially they will be giving the value of year, px value and a p average value. So I hope you know what is px and what is p average. In this catchment area what I have shown, there are 3 rain gauge stations. So out of that, one station is x, so for whom we are trying to get the inconsistency data. So keeping that in mind, we have first one and second one together. I am going to call them as base stations. Now similarly, the another station x which is there, so for this I am going to call this as px. So whatever the data is being collected from this station x is written over here, and similarly the average of the base stations what we are getting, so that value will be written over here. Okay, so this is how the question will be given to you. Now in this question basically they will be giving it from the past to the recent years, whereas the double mask curve technique we use it in the reverse order. Then you need to make sure that entire data what has been given should be reversed over here. So the first 3 columns are same, year, px, p average, so the same thing will be there, but here this latest year will come first, and then these years will go on in the backward direction. So from 2020 till 1990 we need to do that, and similarly we just need to reverse the values of px and p average based on those years. We just need to do that. That will be your first step for the solving of this problem. Now the second step is, since this what I can say graph is for x-axis it is sigma p average and y-axis it is px, you need to make these 2 columns additional. So one column will be for px, sigma px, that is the y coordinate, and one more is sigma p average, that is for the x coordinate what you are going to have. So based on that we are going to have these particular calculations done, and that itself will give you the value of x ordinate and y ordinates. Your next step, that is the third step, will be to plot these particular points on a graph sheet. Okay, and once you plot this, there might be a possibility that from one year point onwards you may find a deviation. You may find a deviation over here. So this deviation, whatever it is going to be, so based on that deviation we are going to make sure that we do this correction, that is c by a into px. So whichever year needs that correction, that we are going to do. So with that we are going to get the corrected values. So once we get these corrected values, then we are going to apply it with the px and p average which has been already given, and then we may find all the other aspects that in the question basically they'll be asking. So that other aspect might be the average rainfall over this entire period of 30 years with the corrected values. So such kind of calculations usually will be there for the checking of inconsistency with the help of double mask curve technique. Okay, and one more thing, whenever we try to solve these problems, it depends on the individual student. Okay, because with what accuracy you are going to mark these points, so based on that there will be a bit of deviations whenever we try to solve these problems. Okay, so whenever you will be back, definitely we are going to solve a problem on this double mask curve technique, and that time again we are going to discuss about the same.